All right, guys, we made it through day 2 here in Las Vegas and woke up here at the Trop Aquarium. This place has been here for 44 years, and that sign right there is 44 years old, which is a sign of success. This place has got freshwater, saltwater, brackish fish, so let's get inside and check them out. Come on, Matt.
I got you, yeah, my crew. We got you, yeah, yeah, alley you, yeah. 'Cause we do what we do. We alley you, yeah, yeah, alley you, yeah. Hey.
Here at Trop Aquarium, they also have loss prevention here. This guy, you don't want to mess with him, all right? So, jumping right into the saltwater fish, one cool thing that they have right away that you don't see at every store, they're very difficult to take care of, so it's not for the beginner hobbyist, is the longhorn cowfish. This guy needs slow flow through the aquarium. They're very slow fish, so you can't put other fish that are fast moving because it won't eat. And you'll have to overfeed the aquarium just to get through to it. So, not for the beginner, but once you know what you're doing, it's a great fish to have. Over here to our right, we have tons and tons of coral. I like some of the old school coral they have. One of my favorite coral here is the fox coral. This guy has been around since I started working at aquarium stores, and this was one of the key corals that we used to sell back in the beginning before we had all this brilliantly colored stuff in frag form. And a healthy selection of torches, frog spawn. This stuff grows really easy in aquarium. We have lots of invertebrates here. You see that healthy selection of starfish. They even have, Max pointed out in our walkthrough before filming, that there is some seahorses here. Again, another very slow fish, not for the beginner. Can go in a very small aquarium, but they absolutely do not compete well with high flow or fish that swim fast because these guys move slowly to the food and eat it very slow. Really cool aquarium here. I'm not sure what we got going on here. I imagine some sort of octopus here. In an octopus aquarium, you would keep kind of an infrared light. They don't really enjoy bright lights. They don't come out a lot in the bright light, so I think they probably put an infrared light in here. Probably also why they have the tubes between the aquariums. So because the octopus, they like to crawl across into other aquariums and go down into cool things. So I imagine there's an octopus here. We don't see it now. Maybe we'll catch it before we leave the store. Also, really cool old school shop. One thing we're noticing about Las Vegas is the shop so far that we've been to seem very old school, the way that they put it up. I really like that because that's what I grew up in, and it really inspires kids, young hobbyists, even old hobbyists to have lots of fish. It's kind of like a farm when you walk in, so I really like it here. We've got cichlids. This is a healthy selection of cichlids. We've got tons of peacocks, Mbuna cichlids, South American cichlids, African cichlids. We have angelfish like we saw before, and even here, a red severum fish. This is kind of in the same family, but these are more aggressive. I used to have a giant red severum. He was very aggressive but very beautiful fish. These are brackish water fish, so these are green spotted puffers. You can also get figure 8 puffers. These go in a brackish aquarium, but you can acclimate them to both fresh and salt water, so highly flexible to your aquarium. I'm not sure if these are in brackish water right now, but if they are, you're going to keep that as salinity at 0.13, 1.4, because they that's what their natural habitat has. Carrying on to seeing some of the other cool stuff here, you really kind of have a little bit of everything here. You have goldfish. Most people think goldfish are like, so simple, so entry level. Some people think it's just a kind of a beginner fish that you work through, but as I've been in the hobby, I've kind of worked my way back for the love of goldfish because they really are a beautiful fish. These guys, the glowfish, I like the way they're doing this now. A lot of misconceptions around glowfish. Some people think that it's cool to have glowfish, but that's not exactly what the case anymore. Before, they used to have something called the painted glass fish. Now that I didn't agree with because they're actually injecting paint in the fish. Not very cool thing to do to a fish. But these are genetically altered fish. So these are bred, genetically enhanced to where they breed this way. So these fish are born this way, they stay that way. It's a much different process. So not so much in need of some negativity around it. So I really like them. You see it at the Aqua Crib quite a bit. Lots of glowfish because it fits right in with the black lighting. So you see tons of dry goods here. You kind of look at the shopping area. This is where you would check out tons of selection on what you can have for your aquarium. Again, not something that you have at every aquarium store because these aquarium stores sometimes are very small. We did go into one yesterday that was very small, had a wide selection, but you know, with a 5,000 square foot store, you can have much more options. Cool selection of rock here. Aquascaping has gotten big these days, guys. This one's really cool. You can move this thing around, pick the type of rock you want. You're gonna do escape. Like, I wish I had this when we did the escape off with gingerbread, right? I would have definitely given you guys a better escape and whooped up on them even worse than I did. But here you can select through everything. These guys have a wide selection of rocks, but you can see these are all different types of rocks from all over the world that you can build your escapes with. That is really cool to have at an aquarium store because not everybody wants their aquarium to look exactly the same. This is absolutely the most popular thing these days is driftwood. This is a nice giant piece. This looks like the dragon root wood that we had at the studio, right, Max? Yeah. This is cool. One thing it's gonna do, it's gonna stain your water with tannins. You can't just buy this and put it in your aquarium and have a nice clear aquarium the next week. This thing is gonna soak in your aquarium. You're gonna have to do water changes for a couple months to keep it clear, and even then, you're probably gonna have a slight brown tint, but a lot of people like that. Even Fritz sells dark water, which it helps to turn the water brown. Lots of cool stuff, tons of freshwater fish. We've kind of walked through most of the livestock selection. We saw coral, we saw saltwater fish, saw freshwater fish. One other thing I want to show to you is the showroom where they have lots of tanks that you can buy, big tanks, small tanks. This is important because, hey, if you got bit by the bug, you want to go buy an aquarium today, then you can come up here to Trop Aquarium and they have lots of tanks on site for you to just take home today. Check this out, guys. You can have a hex aquarium, your rectangles, your cube tanks, whatever shape you guys want. You can do Bowfront tanks, curved glass, you can do cylinders. So whatever shape and size you want, you can get your aquarium that way. Here at Trop Aquarium, they seem to have a wide variety. I see a lot of acrylic tanks here. Acrylic tanks are lighter, they are easier to move around. Sometimes they scratch a little easier, but when you scratch an acrylic aquarium, you can buff it out. When you scratch a glass tank, it's there forever. So the glass tank, though, doesn't scratch as easily. So pros and cons between freshwater and acrylic, the choice is yours. I'm always gonna choose glass. I feel like it stays cleaner longer. Here's an example of your Bowfront Aquarium. This is a popular aquarium since I've gotten into the hobby. Kind of enlarges the fish and coral inside of the tank. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't prefer it. My very first aquarium was a 72-gallon Bowfront aquarium. I loved it at first, but after a while, it kind of interrupted the natural look of the aquarium. So I'm not a fan of the Bowfront, but you might be. Well, guys, that's a wrap. You've seen everything there is to see here at Trop Aquarium. Lots of cool stuff for you to check out. Again, these guys have been around for 44 years, so you know when you come in, you can trust what they say. That is super important when you go to an aquarium store because a lot of people do it differently. My advice to you will be to stick with one group of people when you do your aquarium because everyone's going to do it a different way. If you listen to 1,000 different people, you're not going to have the same type of success. So if you come here to Trop Aquarium, stay in store. Feel free to go check out other stores, buy fish other ways, but pick somebody that's going to stick with you through the life of your aquarium to educate you and go in the right direction. Until then, we'll see you next time here at day 3 in Las Vegas.